This is the number one thing that is holding you back from succeeding with e-commerce. And this realization, something I'm going to share with you and hopefully give you some lessons and learnings that you can take away with you, is something that I've been dealing with honestly my entire life, but certainly in the last 13 years of being an entrepreneur and having a business, where I started my e-commerce business in 2013 with my brother from our kitchen bench. We bootstrapped our business from the entire way through, and that business has now gone on to multiple seven figures. But I can recall many times, even on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, of where I suffered with this one hardship, let's call it. And it continues to be an ongoing process that I am checking myself and working on. So hopefully this realization is going to be valuable for you, and of course the takeaways as well. And so what I'm talking about is imposter syndrome. Now, you've probably heard about this before, and you've probably seen all certain things before, but I hope to offer a different perspective and just honestly share what's worked well for me and how I've been able to succeed in the endeavors that I've currently been doing and what I plan to do, obviously moving forwards with my successes as well. Okay, because the thing to realize about imposter syndrome is essentially, by definition, it inhibits our action to get the desired result. Okay, if you think about how simple life is, but let's call it business, we do this thing, we do the right thing, the right strategy, we actually take the action and we get a result. So imposter syndrome is a basically self-fulfilling message or story we talk to ourselves about that prevents us from getting off the start line. It prevents us from doing the thing anyway. Now, you can think about this in any context. You can think about this in starting the business in the first place. You can think about it in just not doing the social post today, or launching the ads today, or not joining that program today, because we get ourselves in the way and we get riddled with our thoughts. And I'll go into this process and obviously how to combat it a little bit later in this video. But we can also dress up what imposter syndrome is in our own minds. Okay, so this can be, diagnosed as lacking confidence. It can be overwhelm. It can be anxiety. It can be anything that we can point to that says, I'm not doing that thing, even though I know it's good for me or my business. And a lot of the time it comes down to fear. Okay, in my personal experience, there's two fears that I've had, and as I say, continue to have, but I'm dealing with, and doesn't let me, doesn't get in the way of my progress, and that I'll go through. So the first one is fear of judgment, right? So I'm fearing that people are going to judge me for the thing that I go and do. I'm so scared, I'm so worried, I'm so fearful of what other people think about me that I'm not going to do that thing. I'm not going to get off the start line. That is a direct inhibitor. And so, as I say, this can be applicable to starting that business or actually sending that email or anything big or small. You can check yourself and say, am I being fearful? Is this fear actually holding me back? Okay. Now, the solution to that fear of judgment is to shift perspective. And this really changed things for me. So hopefully it's valuable for you. As soon as I realized that people don't care about me or what I do as much as I think they do, that means that I was able to open myself up to move freely and basically do and act as I saw fit. And that's obviously within, all the ethics and legal standings, etc. But meaning that nothing was holding me back from doing the thing that I was scared of doing due to judgment, right? Judgment is a huge prohibitor or inhibitor of what we do. But as soon as you realize that no one really cares, right, as much as you think they do, then you're suddenly freed of that shackle and you're free to do the thing that you were going to do. Okay, that shatters your imposter syndrome as soon as you get rid of being fear of judged. And you can relate this to, again, your actions, yourself, how you do things, but then also how you project upon other people as well. Like, look at the people on Instagram, on YouTube, right? Are you judging me right now? I don't know. But honestly, with my perspective that I'm sharing with you, it doesn't bother me if you judge me or not, right? I'm not scared of your judgment. I know by putting myself out there and generating things and traction and building my audiences and doing things for my business, that is an inevitability of success. And so I challenge you or ask you to go and think the same about your actions and how you project on other people. Typically, we see things the way that we fear to be seen, right? So if I am scared of being judged, that often means that I'm actually judgmental myself. I'm scared of people actually doing the same as what I do to them, okay? So if we can take the initiative and say, I'm not going to judge people, I'm not going to do anything like that, then it will often be projected the other way as well, right? Life is a mirror. The second fear is the fear of failure, okay? Now, I don't necessarily believe in the word failure because it's got such a negative connotation. And so what worked well for me was firstly changing my language around failure. Okay, failure does not have a negative connotation. I've changed my vocabulary. I don't use the word failure to myself, especially, or with my family, friends, kids, etc. I changed that to growth or learning. Okay, so as soon as you can change your vocabulary, you change your perception of what failure actually means. It goes from the negative thing, the thing to fear, right? Failure, like falling off a cliff, or learn and grow. It's like, why would I be afraid of that, right? So doing the thing, if I'm scared of failure, maybe that is legitimate. If I'm scared of growth and learning, absolutely not. That is the negative versus the positive. And just by changing that, firstly, language or vocabulary, it changes your entire mindset of what you've actually got to fear. And then that just completely dissipates. It completely is removed from what you do day in, day out. And so I can categorically say I have zero fear of failure. There is no what if. There's nothing holding me back. By launching this video, if I'm going to fail, that is not even a possibility. If you do anything moving forwards, that is not even a possibility. It's the learning or the growth that you'll experience. And that is a positive thing by doing the act. Okay, so they're the two things that I personally, but you may be in the same boat with, I have imposter syndrome because of my fear of those two things, judgment and or failure. Okay, so now when it comes to solving these things, I've just given you some mindset shifts there that are hopefully valuable for you. But typically, we just need to understand primarily that we're not going to remove this thing for you. It's actually impossible to remove the imposter syndrome, especially if you've had it and you've been susceptible to for your entire life. And so the strategy number one is that recognition. We're not combating it. We're firstly becoming aware of it, and we're then able to move on to the second step, which is actually dealing with it. And I mean dealing with it in terms of constructively, right? Not actually just get over it, suck it up, go, off you go kind of thing, right? It's actually methodically being able to check in, check yourself, become aware. Cool, yep, I acknowledge that. And then being able to shift your mind and perspective into why you should do the thing. So one really good thing is to understand that is the signal. That's basically the signal. It's not the fact. Beyond that, what you can do, a really great thing that I've done, is actually stack evidence. Okay, you can actually have a file or a folder or something that you've got either physically or on your digital form that backs up what you've done previously, your wins, your customer testimonials, built this business, you launched this ad, you sent that email. Stack as much evidence that you are capable and competent as you possibly can. And what that does is it will pave the way for you moving forward to say, I've done all of this, I've learned all of this. Now, this challenge ahead of me doesn't even seem that big or catastrophic. Okay, there is no worst case scenario. It's like, I just put a piece of content out there and it bombs and that's it? Great. Learning and growth. Okay. So stack your wins and be able to refer back to it at any time that you feel imposed by yourself, basically, or inhibited by your imposter syndrome. And that is really valuable to just give you confidence to move forward. It's like, oh, cool. I've got nothing else to think of. I've got nothing else to consider. I'm just going to do this thing and move forward because I know it's worked in the past. Another really important factor is separating skill from, let's call it worth or self-worth. And this, again, mindset shift is super powerful because skills can be learned with time and strategy. Self-worth is completely separate, all right? You are not your skills. You are not your expertise. Your identity is not what you can and can't do right now. And even if it was, it means positively that you can go and change that through skill building. And so it becomes about upskilling and learning new things. We talked about growth and learning. Okay, that's exactly what this means. So again, when you experience imposter syndrome, it's about saying, is my lack of confidence, my overwhelm, is my anxiety around skills or me as a human being? And obviously it's going to be around the skills. And so that leads into my final point here, which is actually stacking momentum. By doing the thing that you fear over and over and over and over and over and again, you're able to stack confidence. You're obviously able to get better at that skill. And then you're looking back in 12 months time and saying, what was I even worried about? Look how far I've come. Then you've stacked and stacked and stacked even more, right? Confidence building, skill, proficiency. And then that thing does not even exist. And I'm sure there'll be something else that you're, worried about or working on or self-imposing on, but we use the same technique to move forwards. That is the most important thing, that you have the momentum and stack the momentum and do the thing. But you must start with the awareness of it. Then you must be able to acknowledge it and then be able to use the skills that I've just spoken about, the techniques that I've just spoken about to move through it. Because it doesn't matter at the end of the day what your attitude or your feeling is. in the context of getting the work done that you need to get done, taking the action to get the result and the sales in the context of e-commerce business that you would like. Okay. But you must first realize what's holding you back here. Then how can I actually change that? What can I do to work through it? And, basically do the thing anyway. Stuff your mood, just do the thing. That's a really good thing that I've reiterated with myself. And it's a bit of tough love to say, just do the thing, just send the email, just do the post, just create the promotion, just shoot the video. And practice over time makes everything easier and seem insignificant looking back. And an example of this is, I started doing YouTube about 12 months ago now, and I'm like, what was I worried about for so long? Probably years that I was worried of, fearful of the judgment and certainly failure of videos not being seen, etc. And I'm just, obviously so grateful to have the people in the comments and the messages that I get every week from the videos that I produce. And so that's just a small example and insight into myself that I hope you can relate to. So look, I hope this video was valuable for you. If it was, I'd love a like, love a subscribe. And look, if there's things that you want to know about what we do, how I help e-commerce businesses in my program, you can click on the link below. It's all good. Have a chat if you want to see what it's all about. But other than that, I really appreciate being here, watching till the end, and I'll catch you in the next one.